Hello and happy Friday. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all keeping very well. What happens when you take a Murphy out of his comfort zone? This happens. So we've made it to Friday, the start of another glorious weekend, we should hope. It's been a busy enough week. We've had the official patch, or the first patch of 1.7.14 that hopefully has fixed a lot of the install issues that you guys are having. So yeah, now doing a bit of reading this week as well. Looks like Airsoft are hopefully going to be releasing the CRJ relatively soon. They're hoping before Christmas, and also the continuation of the development roadmap from Asobo and Microsoft Flight Sim, Microsoft, whereby they're going to be working on a couple of bugs, most namely some of the autopilot features, mainly with the VNAV. They have work left to do on the G1000 and the G3000, so we'll have to wait and see how it all kind of turns out and stuff. So that's the plan. So where are we? How are we? And how did we get here? We're on the ground in a place called Santos Dumont Airport. We're in Brazil, which is Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet. And there's a dude hanging up on a mountain here, the Christ the Redeemer statue, in which we're going to take off, fly around, give our salute, and then we're going to ramble over to a place called, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, McKay Airport, which is Sierra Bravo Mike Echo. And the plan is, when we get there, we're going to land, and then we're going to go on to multiplayer, open up the virtual skies to anyone who wants to join in, and fly back to here, for which there will be a landing challenge towards the end of the stream, and we can kind of watch you guys try to land, and we won't judge. We'll judge. So first things first, I have to say hello to a whole load of people here with my little book. It's a busy Friday. Who have we got? So, Colonel Fork is here, good evening to you. Ben McClure, Ryan07, welcome aboard. Matthew Parks is here. Woot woot, he says. Matt Miller is here. Echo India, good evening to you. Coley205, good to see you, dude. Wesley Hartford is here. Mal Walsh, hi Murphy says. Hi Mal, hope you're keeping well. Happy Friday, dude. J.E. is here. Aidan Darley Aviation, good to see you too, my friend. The Buzz is here. Ludus is here. Good evening to you, my friend. Jim Oates, happy Friday. Where do we start? Where do we begin? And let's see what happens. So what I've done for the initial leg, it's a closed group. Stuart Payne, or M4D, as you'll see the username, has suggested this flight to me during the week. So I said, yeah, we'll give it a shot. So a couple of people I want to say hello to and thanks to, because, well, they support the place. Like many of you wonderful people support the place. They just got in on time by hitting the little join button. So I want to say hello to Shivam, the Vidya Crusader, S. Voigt, which is Scott, Ludos, who's here in the chat, and Jim Oates, who's here in the chat. Hang on, let's make it official. My thanks for your continued support. Cheers and sláinte and happy Friday. Whoa. Didn't get the mixer right again, but that's quite okay. Mark Dixon is here. He says, yeehaw, it's Friday. Oh yeah. Scott Briggs, the Flying Scotsman, is here. Monkeys is here. Hi Murph, ordered a new PC today. That's being built by a friend of mine, so hopefully we'll be joining you soon. Thanks for the advice. Sweet. Well, let's hope, Monkey, that you can get some sort of enjoyment out of the PC once you get it, and looking forward to seeing you here in our virtual skies, my dude. Papa Joe B is here. He says, hi Murph, just get in. I hope you had a nice day, my friend. Ludos is asking, at which airport do you turn on multiplayer? So it will be Sierra Bravo Mike Echo, or also it's known as, I think it's McKay. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I could be wrong. Daza T Arab is here as well. Good evening. So the few amigos I have flying this evening is Stuart Payne, Philippe is here as well, as is Colonel Fork. So I don't know how well this will work, or maybe it won't work, but sure, we'll see. It's a nice looking scene though, isn't it? I mean, it looks pretty. So let's see, shall we not break it? So here's our little machine down here, our Cessna 172, the steam gauged version, and the tail number is of course that for Stuart to say many thanks. So if I have a quick look around here, we can see the Colonel is parked up here beside us, and I can't see the other dudes just yet. So we'll see. There could be all sorts of technical difficulties. Here's a someone taxiing. We don't know who it is yet. Let's find out, shall we? What are we flying today? So we're in the Cessna 172 with the steam gauges. That's the plan. We're going to take off and do a bit of flying. We're going to do a lap of the Christ the Redeemer, and then continue on our flight. Adam Quinn is here as well. Good evening to you, Adam. Hope you're keeping well. Aidan Darty says, if the Royal International Air Tattoo doesn't go ahead next year, then this game should 100% be used to all the virtual displays as it looks so good. I agree. I absolutely agree. So where else do we look? Ben McClure, are you a pilot in real life? And if not, would you like to be? I'm not a pilot in real life. I've flown a couple of hours in a Cessna 172. So it is something I very much want to continue with. So we shall see. Wesley asks, did I install deliveries yet? I didn't. Turner296 is here as well. Good evening to you, Turner. I hope you're keeping well, dude. Yeah. Let's see what happens, shall we? So just want to double check everyone is here who should be. Let's see here now. I think Philippe is here. No nameplate over, but that's okay. And we're just waiting on Stuart to get here as well. That'll be the plan. Right, so we got to get our little machine started up here. And now usually I fly through all of this, so we'll take a bit of time and start explaining things if you're unfamiliar. Is VAT Air still going? I remember giving that a go a few years ago. I'm not sure. I think it is. Ludus asks, what server are we on? It's currently a closed one at the minute, but we'll open up shortly. Time Lord Flight is here. Hello from Munster. Hello. Wolfie is here. My name, Jeff. How's it going, Wolfie? And Stephen Lowe is here as well. He says, good evening all. Hello, Stephen. Hope you're keeping well. Matthew Parks is asking, the airport will leave on multiplayer. I'll just type it in, make life a little bit easier. SBME. So if you want to check the chat there, it'll be in. So you can have checklists and whatnot in the aircraft. You can just, it's a matter of just going up, checking the checklist to see what I did there. And you can read all the way down through it. I'm not going to bore myself with that, only because, well, I've done this a few times, and it's, you know, you can keep it as real to world as you like, or just enough to kind of get you going in the sim. So we're going to get us going in the sim. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure our parking brake is turned on, our fuel selection is on both, and we have a fuel shut-off valve. We'll push that in. Next up, we'll turn on our battery and our alternator. They go on. We turn on our beacon light to let the peoples on the ground know that we're going to be doing something. And we'll turn on our nav lights just for the crack. Now, there are two default buttons that are always handy to press in Microsoft Flight Sim. If you press the D or Delta key, it will fix your heading bug. And if you press the B or Bravo key, it will fix your barometric pressure, rather, and give you the correct altitude. So that'll be real handy. Equindy asks, will outside temperature change your max available power in the game? I believe so, yes. The buzz says, hi Murph, I see it's in Brazilian tonight. It is, and the wife approves. Thanks very much, Mal. How did the new update go? Sorry, that was the buzz. Well, thanks to the buzz. And Mal says, how did the new update go? Do you have to uninstall first? No. So with the new update, you update through the store first, the Microsoft Store, and I think it's only something like, it's about 300 megabytes. And then once you relaunch the sim, you should be good to go. Should be good to go, but we'll see. Anyway, we've done all of this. Next thing up then is we want to get a start on our engine. So I just make sure that my mixture, which controls the airflow and fuel into the engine, and your throttle. So what we're going to do, we're going to set our mixture to rich, which is fully in, and we'll push in our throttle about 1/8 of an inch, and we're going to turn on our fuel pump. And when we turn on our fuel pump, we're going to see this guy up here give us a positive reading showing that there's fuel going in. So with the fuel pump, There's a tiny little movement there, and it's letting us know fuel is flowing. Some other aircraft might have a primer, some might have a choke, but on this we have a fuel pump. So we're going to go with the fuel pump. Or for M is here, he says, hi Murphy, how's it going? Ludo says, do you have the Mega Livery Pack V8 now installed? I don't. They're already up to V8. Nice. Monkey says, sorry if I already asked, but is there an Aer Lingus livery available for the A320? Yes, there is. Matthew says, how do I join the server you will be on in multiplayer? I'll let you know shortly once we get up there. Ben McClure, when will you know? Have your phone plugged in for 2 hours and release? Ben says, when you know... Or, sorry, he says, you know when you have your phone plugged in for 2 hours and then realise the switch isn't on. Aaron is here. He says, hi. Hello, Aaron. Okay, so we've got you to this stage. We've checked our fuel pump. So next thing, you would open the little window to advise any peoples walking around to clear the prop area. So you would just say, clear prop. And that lets them know on the ground that you're going to be starting up the engine. So just before we start it, ensure your brake is on, mixture goes to lean or fully out, and we're going to start turning the mags here and the starter will engage, and once we start getting a positive rate on our RPMs, we'll introduce some fuel. So it all kind of happens fairly quick, so don't worry about the starter button. As you see the RPMs on this guy here, when you see them rising, keep an eye on the mixture here and everything will go in together. So there's a good start on the engine. We'll hold the RPMs just under 1,000 as not to damage the engine, because you have to allow it to heat up, get the temperatures and pressures all in the right places. That is the plan. Zach Tech is here. He says, good evening, Two-Tone. Thanks for the content. What upcoming third-party planes are you most looking forward to? Well, I'm looking forward to the 737. And that's going to come out from PMDG. That's definitely going to be up there. So we'll get some lights going here first, just so we can kind of see what we're doing. Next we'll turn on the Avionics 1 and 2, the main buses. That'll give us power into our radios, autopilot, and our GPS. And at this stage then, I'm pretty much going to be ready to taxi. Pitot heat is this little gadget on the wing. Is your pitot, or your pitot. Basically what it does, it's reading the air speed at the wing, giving it what's called true airspeed, or indicated airspeed, and they have a habit of freezing up, especially if you have icing conditions. So if you turn on the pitot heat, it'll keep it nice and warm. The weather today in Brazil, well, I need sunscreen, it's quite warm, so we don't need to worry about it just yet. So I'm going to head get my taxi and landing lights, and strobes can come on at this point here as well. Get our yokes back in. Initial altitude, I'm going to set 3,500 into my autopilot and leave it sit. And then we're going to be squawking 7,000 on altitude mode because we're going to fly in VFR. And that's kind of how it looks. Luda says there are 98 liveries for the A320 now, or for the A320. Nice! Very well, Aaron. Many thanks for asking. Ecomindia says, what's in the packages behind you, Murph? We're okay. It's all empty. It's just us and our ego. So let's hope they all fit in the plane at the same time. Okay, so as Murphy has been waffling for the last couple of minutes, where did the guys go? Okay, so the Colonel is there. So Colonel, we're going to depart from runway 20, either left or right. So it's going to be on your left hand side as you taxi down. We have someone here. I can't see Stuart yet, but we shan't worry. So parking brake is going to come off. We're just going to move ourselves forward here a little bit. Start our taxi. Stuart is here, cool. What are you flying, Stuart? Okay, so we'll leave name tags on here for a couple of minutes. So yeah, so how has everyone's week been? We had a pretty cool flight on Wednesday around New York City and Boston. That was pretty cool. So tonight we don't know what's going to happen. Could be good, or it could be a disaster, but sure, either way, we'll figure it all out together. That's good. I shall follow Colonel Fork here. So I've noticed with the update, or with the patch, scenery is a little bit slower loading in on my machine, which is, it is what it is. But in saying that, the sim has been, touch wood, a little bit more stable, which is always a good thing to have. Hayden says, Murphy, there's only one thing I have to say. That Cessna has some mileage on it now from all the flights. Oh, yeah. Actually, I meant to check. I don't think they're modelled. Or they are. That was 12 hours the last time, wasn't it? Okay, so that does work. Our little tachometer works. Which is sweet. Okay, so Stuart can see me. I can't see Stuart. But that's okay. So the Colonel is going for, it looks like 2-0 right. I'll jump across and go 2-0 left. I can't see anyone. Oh, that's never a good sign. It shouldn't make a difference what server we're on, I don't think. Colonel Fork, just to be sure, if you want to jump over to the European server maybe. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'm just taxiing on the runway beside you onto 2-0 left. Dangerous Brian is here. Good evening to you, Dangerous Brian. Happy Friday, my dude. I hope you're keeping well. Oh, just get ourselves parked up here for a jiffy. It wouldn't be a two-tone Murphy stream without some sort of technical glitch. Luda says, it does matter what server you're on. Okay, so if you guys want to jump over to the European server, and let me know if it works. Matthew Parks asks, what does the squawk do? Well, basically a squawk is a radar frequency or a radar code. So for example, on our transponder down here, this is transmitting a frequency of these numbers to identify you. So for example, if you're flying VFR, which is Visual Flight Rules, this number in Europe and outside of the US would help air traffic controllers understand who and what you are, and if you're flying VFR. So you're not really going to, they're not going to care about you. They can see you because they know you're VFR based on that code, and they don't really need to talk to you. If you need to talk to ATC, if you need like a basic service, or you need to enter an airport's airspace, you would contact ATC. They would then give you a unique, what's called squawk code, and that squawk code is usually a 4-digit number, and when you put that in, you might have to identify it. They'll say ident, and whatever number they give you. For example, if ATC said, okay, whatever my call sign was, which in this aircraft will be Papa Papa Mike 4 Delta, they would say squawk 2234. I'd hit 2234, hit ident. That would flash up on the big massive radar screen, and they'll say, ah, look, there he is. And then they can see me, and then they can control me to say, you know, climb to whatever flight level, or descend, or turn left or right, all that kind of good stuff. So that's, you would only squawk one of these numbers if you're in direct contact with air traffic control. If you're in the United States, the standard squawk code for VFR, which is Visual Flight Rules, in which you don't need to rely on air traffic control to guide you through the sky. You still need to talk to the ground and the tower to get you airborne and to land you, but it will be 7,000 in the US or 7,000 outside of the US. Stuart says, I'm on North EU. There's always one. Murphy is on North Europe. Stay on that. There's always a glitch. I might get better in the air, yeah. So yeah, so that's basically your squawk. There are a number of emergency squawk numbers. Not a good idea to do them online in a sim because, well, they'll just kick you out. But you would squawk 7700, 7600 and 7500. I'll let you Google them. So let us continue on. So the flight here, as I said, we're going to take off, get as much altitude as we can, fly around the big fella up on the hill, and then we're heading over to the next airport over in Macau, or Macau, but I think it's Macau. So that's the plan. So, are you ready? Because I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. So with that said, parking brake coming off, mixture set to fully rich. And that's it. Throttle coming in. Parking brake off. And away we go. We can see Colonel Fork out to our right hand side. He's rolling. There's 55 knots. We're getting light. There's 60 knots. We can easily rotate at this stage. Don't need flaps, only because the runway is quite large and our altitude is quite low. So we're going to continue on this heading as best we can, climb as much altitude as we can, go over these mountains ahead of us, swing up to the right hand side, and yeah, check out the sights. So immediately after takeoff, it's a matter of setting your climb speed and also your pitch, in which you then have a pitch wheel. On this aircraft is a little pitch wheel. So you would move this wheel up or down depending on how much pressure you need to apply to the flight controls. Which is always really handy. So it's known as trimming the aircraft. R4M has the hang of it. Excuse me, who do we have here? Samantha's here. What plane is this? This is the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, the steam gauged version, which is available in the Premium Deluxe, I think. Yeah. So we've got a big mountain thingy here on our left hand side, so you can see slight delays with the old sceneries loading in, but we won't worry about it too much. You're ideal to set either a button or some sort of a, yeah, you can set an axis or a switch to your trim. It's not very hard. The main things you're looking for, you rely on a couple of things. If you're flying VFR, you can rely on your horizon. So I'm not touching the controls yet. The nose kind of wants to dip down. So if I edit the trim or adjust the trim, don't mind the wind, you can keep an eye on it here with your vertical speed indicators as well. So basically you want to trim the control so much that your hand or arms or hands don't need to do much else. That would be the idea. The Berko Flyer says, are you in Rio? Yes we are. Rudder says, I'd love to have the same gauge version of the 172, but I think the additional money isn't worth it. Yeah, hold off for a while. Like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to pick up these aircraft one by one relatively soon. Okay, so the Colonel is there ahead of us. No sign of the dudes behind us, unfortunately, but that's okay. At least we all kind of know where we're going. Scott Briggs says, for GA, you never want to trim, or you never want the trim to be set extremely high or extremely low. Correct. Only because as soon as you slow the aircraft down by adjusting the throttle, well, it'll either pitch up or pitch down, depending if you're putting power in or taking it out again. So we're climbing nicely here. And we're going to be making a right turn shortly. Just want to pick up a little bit more altitude. Stuart says, I'm behind you. We can't see you. You're in the invisible plane, but that's okay. We'll take your word for it, Stuart. But if you can see me, well then, that's good enough. The Colonel says, I can see you now. Cool. This would be my first time flying over this neck of the woods. And I have to say, it looks pretty. As we'll do our usual bit of music. Okay, so we're going to start a turn here. We're going to make it 330 degrees. We're going to go heading mode. And we're going to continue our climb here to 3,500. And we'll V-speed by 500 feet per minute. Austin Pilot Michael is here. He says coming in a bit behind. That's quite okay. Darren Dunn says, the boss says all the nice scenery is between Rio and Sao Paulo. You're heading south. We're actually going to be heading north. Samuel Dye is here. He says, let's see some legs hanging out. Darren Dunn says, I've taken off from Rio actually. Nice. Wesley Hartford's here. He says, what's the destination? We're going to Sierra Bravo Mike Echo. After we go over and have a look at this guy. Bad Dog is here. How's it going, dude? Happy Friday to you. The Big Fat Swampert is here. He says, Tremor looks really good today, Murph. I'd well believe it. Okay, we have some nice kind of clouds coming in here as well. I have to say, this area looks really nice. And performance-wise, it's kind of behaving itself. We'll look at our window here. So we're going to start a right turn. Let's go for 030 for the moment. See what happens. That should be okay. But I suppose we kind of need to have a look at the dude's face, don't we? So let's change that to 060. That's a little bit better. Chippy A is here. He says, I'll be joining you shortly, I hope. Absolutely. Davin Crawford is here. Good evening to you, Davin. He says, evening, Murph. Hope we are well this evening. Just home from work. Feet up now with a cuppa. I'm doing very well, Davin. Happy Friday to you, dude. Dara Dunn says, Sao Paulo is my speciality. I'm open to suggestions. Well, depending on those suggestions, but yes. So we still have the Colonel here behind us, which is a good sign. Unfortunately, no sign of Stuart or Philippe. But they're here with us in spirit. We'll go slightly right here to about 070. See, can we get a good shot here? Leonardo Albuquerque is here. He says, I'm on the North server with all players and can't see you guys. So, Leonardo, we're actually on a closed group for this flight until we get to our first stop, which is up in Macau, or Sierra Bravo Mike Echo. And once we get there, we'll open it up to multiplayer. So, our departure was Santos, which is Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet. So, let's check out this guy, shall we? So Christ the Redeemer, it was constructed between 1922 and 1931. The statue itself is some 30 metres, or 98 feet high, and the base of the statue is 8 metres, which is 26 feet high, and his arms stretch 28 metres across. And I have to say, it looks kind of cool. How's my Portuguese? Abysmal. I can say Cristiano and Ronaldo. If I said them really fast, I sound Portuguese. Muse fan is here. Good evening to you. Hope you're keeping well, dude. It really does look like a special part of the world. It's beautiful looking. And considering the amount of detail being loaded in, like there are thousands of little objects here. Buildings and different shadows, and you've got water reflections, and not to mention clouds coming in. It's absolutely gorgeous. Jeffrey David is here. He says, good afternoon, Murph, from New Orleans. Happy Friday, Jeffrey. I hope you're keeping well, my dude. So we're going to jump back over to our autopilot, and we want to go to nav mode. We're going to follow this magenta line. So if we zoom out here, that'll give us an idea of where we're flying to. So we're level here at 3,500 feet. Sync our heading and our barometric pressure, and we'll continue on our flight. Salah is here. Around the world trip, maybe. Yeah, that'd be fun. Daniel M is here. He says, hey Murph, sorry you're late. How was your day? You're not late. You arrived just when you need to, Daniel. Happy Friday to you, dude. Day was good. It was a busy week. But it's grand. There are no complaints. So, for Colonel Fork, if you don't have the flight plan loaded in, our next destination is Sierra Bravo Echo Sierra, And then we're going to head up kind of northeast to Sierra Bravo Mike Echo. Kieran Niall is here. Good evening to you, Kieran. Do you know when the next update is out? I reckon it'll be towards the end of this month. They reckon somewhere between the 24th and 27th, in which they're going to be doing a patch, hopefully for some of the autopilot issues we were having. I think the patch, hopefully that's going to be released then in October, is going to be for addressing some of the Earth objects, some of the mesh issues that we were having, a couple of airports that were missing, the likes of the arched bridge beside Sydney Opera House and a few other bits and bobs. And then rumour has it November might have some sort of a patch coming out, which would be a paid update. Rumour has it so far that could be helicopters and VR, but these are at the moment just rumours. We can't confirm nor deny them, so we'll fuel them. Dara says, I don't have a high spec PC. What's the minimum to run flight sim? If you go onto the Microsoft Store or even the Steam Store, you can see the minimum specs, but I would probably recommend against a minimum spec PC to try and run this. You mightn't get the experience you would hope for. So depending on your own circumstances, I don't know if you get your hands on an Xbox One or if you want to save up for the new Xbox Series X. They're due to come out, I think, before Christmas. And when they do, they're due to release the sim onto them. So I think we planned the time of day here nicely. We're using real world weather, and I can verify the weather since the patch is definitely behaving itself. It's accurate from what I can see. Look at the detail here, look. Fantastic. So I imagine we're going to have a nice sunset when we're coming back here to land, which is always nice. Agent Ice 007 is here. He says, hey Murph, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, my dude. Hope you had a good week. Bartman 7490 is also here. Good evening to you, sir. You're all very welcome along tonight. Broadcasting live both here on YouTube and on Twitch. Agent Dice says, it's been a long week, so good to be on your plane right now. You're in the passenger seat, my friend. Or maybe you're in the pilot seat. No, I'm kind of stuck here. But what's your view like, so? Oh, it'd be decent. Hey, Jakin is here. Where are we tonight? We're flying in Brazil. We just took off from Santos Dumont Airport. We did a lap around Christ the Redeemer, and we're going to head over then to a place called Macaé. M-A-C-A-E. I think it's Macaé. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's Brazilians or Portuguese people slapping their forehead right now. So that's where we're heading. So holding speed of here of about 110 knots, which is roughly the same over the ground. Temperatures and pressures are in the green. Fuel flow is okay. And the autopilot for the moment is behaving itself. we're at about 2400 RPM. I think the Colonel is still here. He is. Colonel Fork is just behind us as we're flying along here. That looks pretty. Then it says, so with the 24th to the 27th, they really mean early October for the update. Yeah, probably. Darradun says, thanks for the stream, Murph. Makes me want to spec my PC for this game. Yeah. Stuart Payne says, wow, my first crash. It was a system crash, not a flight crash. Oh, dude. That is unfortunate. But don't worry, Stuart, if you want to jump down to SBME, Macau, or Mackay, we'll try and pick it up again. Darradun says, they have Guinness in Brazil? I don't know. If there's anyone here tonight from Brazil, if you can verify, do they have Guinness in Brazil? I'm sure they have their own lovely beer. Raymond Greeny is here, he says, how do you think Flight Sim will be on Xbox? I think it'll be good. As 6 Viper reports in saying no Guinness there. Well, it looks like we'll have to change that. Organise a charter flight with a whole load of Guinness and ramble down. Would it not be too warm for Guinness though? Stuart says, I'll meet you down at SBME. Enjoy the flight plan. Will do, my friend. No Guinness, no flight. Colonel Fork says the boys are thirsty in Atlanta and there's beer in Texarkana, so I hear. Smokey and the Bandit, Bill and Ted, Podge and Raj. Jeffrey says, if there is, I won't go there. Stuart says, just doing a full PC shutdown to be safe. Not like my PC to crash. Stuart, I blame your new chair. Your PC is envious of your comfort. 6 Viper says, true. They're rather cold lagers due to the weather. Let's just say a winter there is like a summer in Ireland. I would think so. Agent Ice007 says, Murph, what do you think of the Nvidia 3000 series release? I think I might have an organ leaving my body soon enough to pay for it. But yeah, they on the face of it, I know they're not tested yet, but they certainly look impressive. And I think the 3080 being probably the most cost-efficient way to have an extreme graphics card. It's like twice the power of a 1080 Ti. Nathan Lammy is here. He says, hey lad, good evening to you, Nathan. I hope you're keeping well, my dude. Happy Friday. Nathan Lammy is now following over on Twitch. Many thanks, my dude. Wesley Harper says, how do you turn on the name tags for multiplayer? I won't do it now, otherwise the kernel will just continue flying and we'll stop. But during your flight, or in the main menu, go to Options, General, go to Traffic, and I think it's like the 3rd or 4th option down, it'll say Display Name Tags, or Display ATC, or Traffic Tags. You can turn them on or off. Murph and Surf. So if we bring up our little map here, you can see the route in which we're going to fly. So yeah, once we get up to SBME, we're going to be good to go, and it's going to be in about 20 odd minutes. So it looks like we're going fairly well. Agent Ice 007 says, I agree, the 380 is the best bang for buck. Paul McLean is here. He said, so prices of the 2080 Ti's will crash. Want to bet? Creed won't crash ever. I wouldn't mind. I have a 20T or a 2080 Ti, and I'm going to be raging when the prices drop so much, because it was an expensive card to put into this machine to start off with. Not too expensive, but like expensive. Patty is here. He says Antarctica is so buggy. Yes, there are parts of kind of North Canada and Antarctica are really bad. The Arctic up kind of where the North Pole is, I think some of the issues have been resolved. But yeah, there's you know, the South Pole and kind of Northern Canada, there are issues. Felipe says, good evening. Is it Boa Tarde? Boa Tarde? Havo77 is here. Good evening to you, dude. Nolene Holden is here. Hello, Nolene. I hope you're keeping well. Happy Friday. JE says, any idea why my multiplayer options will be dimmed out? Shows I am online. So basically for multiplayer, Dara, if you have a private group, that's the icon you're looking at. So you should have on the right hand side your name and a status. The next one over you'll have I think like notifications. The next one over will show a list of your friends, and then the next one over on the far left is showing if you're live in a certain group. So if you want to fly online, you can fly in a private group in which you need an invite. If not, select your flying to all players. That's where you set your weather and whatever. Put it into all players, and once you're on the same server as them, you're good to go. AJ says, will my poor Nvidia GTX 1060 cut the pace? I don't know. It might hang on, but it's going to be hard to call. Perfect. Boa Tarde, well spelled. Nice. Batty says, wait, is this true? If you don't have the London pack, you can't see the famous buildings. It's not true. You just can't see all of them without the London pack. So the default, you'll get the likes of, say, you know, Tower Bridge or London Bridge, and you get a handful of others. But Orbex they put in pretty much everything else. So it's kind of bumpy up here. There's the Colonel. It's like proper bumpy here. But we do have some very nice views. This is a beautiful country. The Drumist 88 is here. He says, I'll be selling my 2070 Super shortly. At 500 last year, it was better. Glad I didn't offer the 2080 Ti at the time when they were new. Yep. Marty is here. Good evening to you, Marty. I hope you're keeping well, dude. Happy Friday. Luda says, I think only Buckingham Palace is missing. Okay. No, they were missing a lot of the other ones. Like, they didn't have the HSBC building. They didn't have a lot of Canary Wharf. Sam says, I didn't hear the turbulence warning. No, probably just Huey and Ralph in the back seat. Huey, Ralph. But they're there, they're grand, they're hanging around. Batty says, how much did you pay for the A320 Aer Lingus skin? Zero. It's a free download. If you just do a Google search or a Bing search for Microsoft Flight Sim add-ons, you'll come across it there. Agent Ice says, looks like quite a bit of turbulence. Yeah, especially over the mountains, so it'll be interesting when we come down here. The sim does a really good job at kind of simulating thermal and updrafts and downdrafts and stuff. And like, it absolutely hops you around the place. It's going to cost me big bucks, says AJ. I kind of will. The Pope Slayer is here. He says the Portuguese used to call coastal Brazil as the Great Green Wall. Interesting. Duke of Goa from Portugal with you guys in Brazil. Sam says the 3090 looks amazing. It really does. Now it's going to be hard to justify the cost. I'll really need to check out the performance and how better it's going to be in real world performance versus the 2080 Ti. I suspect you're going from 11 to, I think it's 24 gigs, which is nuts. So yeah. Six-pack pilot bringing the aerobatics tonight, says Mr. Chippy. Agent I says, what's in your magic coffee cup tonight, Murph? I could have went for something very interesting, and then I didn't. But then I found a second bottle of the Old Reliable, which was Suntory, or Centauri. I think it's Suntory. And I kind of liked the first bottle enough to say, I'll go with that again. So it's a Japanese whiskey called Suntory. It's okay. It kind of grows on you. Paul McLean says, wonder if anyone will Clever Chap will work on the Premier and the best known football stadiums, as they are not represented. That is true. There's a lot of stadiums, or stadia, a lot of stadiums not present just yet. But don't worry, it'll be grand. Tarso is here, lost the beginning. Where in Brazil are you flying? We took off there from Santos Dumont Airport. We did a lap around Christ the Redeemer, and we're heading up now to a place called Mackay Airport. If we open the map for you, we're here. So I hope it looks all familiar if you're from Brazil. And if it doesn't, well, I'll explain now. So when we took off from Rio de Janeiro, we're going to go down to a place called, I think it's Cabo Frio, which is Sao Pedro de Aldeia. And then Mackay is just kind of south of Campos. I am not familiar with this area, as you can tell. But I'll give it a bash anyway. What's the worst that could happen? Famous last words and all that. I think stadiums, yes. Agent Ice says, I got the Hickby Suntory whiskey when I was in London, was pleasantly surprised, so good choice. It's very good. Sam says, okay, you convinced me, opening the flight sim. Nice. Tarsa says, I live up northeast close to SBNT in Natal. Cool. Ludus asks, how long are you doing streaming and YouTube? Not very long. I've been making a couple of YouTube videos for X-Plane. I'm doing that a little over a year. Like, I kind of started and then I stopped, and then I started and then I stopped. So I'm really only streaming this year in the last couple of months. So maybe about a month before they released Microsoft Flight Sim, I started streaming over on X-Plane. Just, I found it a little bit easier to live stream than have the discipline of making videos, because you have to edit them and make them look all fancy and all that kind of stuff. And then I was lucky enough to get early access to the public version of Microsoft Flight Sim. I've worked on the alpha and on the beta, so I've had access to the sim for a long time. Fiery doom is the worst that could happen, says Sam. What's the worst that could happen? Fiery doom. I will use that. Billy Walsh asks, you doing online? Yes, we will. Nicoson, he says, hey Murph, what time is multiplayer? Just logged on. I reckon in about 30 minutes, give or take. We're going to be taking off from Sierra Bravo Mike Echo, which is here in Brazil, just kind of northeast of Rio de Janeiro. The VFR map is really good in Microsoft Flight Sim. Anyone tried it? It's a real map, so you know exactly where you are, says Paul. Is that this inbuilt one? This one? Or is it the one kind of on the main menu? It could be the one on the main menu. Many thanks, Ludus. He says, nice, keep doing those streams. The best in the Flight Sim community, in my opinion. Well, aw shucks. Many thanks for your kind words, dude. So yeah, flying over Brazil, and it's kind of... It's near the golden hour, because things are looking absolutely fantastic here. With the Colonel still following, doing a doing a great job there. Oh, Paul says, no mate, it's an add-on, real map, not VFR. Oh, cool, okay. Paul, you might let me know which one it is. And don't forget, guys, we have a Discord. Awesome Pilot Michael says, interesting, if not multiplayer, why do I see it? You can probably see me on the map, but I don't think you'll see me in the skies. Irish Aviator is here. He says, when you're flying the Cessna 182 Turbo, I like it loud. That's super loud, dude. Super loud. You can see me in the sky? That's weird. Maybe we're on the same server. But I'm almost certain I can't see you. But then again, that could be just my machine. Yeah, I think so, dude. I think so. Jer is here. Good evening to you, Jer. He says, hi Murph. Latest word from HP Reverb is that the G2 will be here at the end of October. So a bit to go yet. We should have a lot of bugs fixed in Flight Sim by the time it's out for VR. Nice. That VR headset is most definitely on the list. The fact that they're making that alongside Microsoft Flight Sim, they're both developing the sim and the hardware together. It should be very good. The Drummus asks, any dates on Flight Sim 2020 VR? If I were to hazard a guess, I would say November. We're due to get kind of a paid add-on made available. It'll either include choppers or VR or both. Or they might use VR as a free update and then, you know, you can buy an add-on of choppers. Luda says, will you get Track IR in the future? I think it completes the immersion. I actually have Track IR, but it's no good when I stream because of all these fancy fandangled lights around me. They make me look like this guy. So there's a big light over there and I have another kind of bright light there. And if I use Track IR when I turn my head, the screen just kind of goes. No, that's just not going to happen. So we shall see. Billy Walsh says, have you ever laid your eyes on scale modelling, military or even GA? I'm currently working on an EC135. I have a number of scaled models, yes, mainly 172. They're up on a shelf over by yonder. Actually, here's one for you. I'll take a photograph and I'll put the photograph up on Twitter and you guys can let me know if you like it on Twitter or not. Bear with me. Well, that's kind of close. Okay, so let me see. If you go to Twitter, which is that one, at D2Tone Murphy. Those of you who go to Twitter, even if you don't, just ramble over there and I'll put up these photos. Let us see. I can multitask. I can definitely multitask. Now, how do we add in multiple pictures? Add. What's happening? Let's say at the Two-Tone Murphy. Your tweet was sent. I like Twitter. I really like Twitter. I think it's an amazing platform. Really great. Super. Really great. And then within like 10 seconds, really bad platform. Totally bad. They're really terrible. Worst I've ever seen. That'd be... anyway, you know who that guy was. The Chasman is here. Good evening to you. He says, what server? And where are you flying today? I'll come fly with you. Sweet. So we're on, at the moment, the European server. And we'll be landing in SBME, Sierra Bravo Mike Echo, in Brazil. McKay, I think it's pronounced. And we should be up there in a couple of minutes. Maybe 20 minutes, give or take. Sparker in VR says, hi, are you using the Pro Clip? No, I use the head track, you know, the one for the hat, because I have the Track IR4. I would very much like the headphone clip gadget. That would get rid of all the lights hitting off the front one. The drummer says, anyone on Game Pass PC will have to buy on Steam, I imagine, to get the VR support. It's hard to know. So if you go over to the land of Twitter, you'll see this is just one shelf. I have many shelves, but this is the one I'll show you. And okay, there's 3 or 4 kind of, I want to say die-cast, but you guys might say they're die-cast, but they're die-cast. There's a couple of them. And there's also an instrument. Can you see that? Hang on, let's see, can you see this without like the big shine? So see that instrument gauge? Hang on. Okay, the camera's working really hard. Anyway, that instrument gauge came out of an actual DC3. My wife got it 1 year for me, and it's really nice. And it comes like with a little cert at the plane that took it out. I imagine the plane no longer flies because like they kind of need that. Sparker says track IR5 the Pro clip seems to work quite well. Nice. Daza says love the low cloud mist effect. Let's have a look. Nice. Yeah, we jump back outside here. Look, that is kind of nice looking. That's even nicer looking. Yes. Did you bring your grog along? Good morning, Vietnam, he says. Morning, Murphy. I've just woken up. God, I love the smell of live stream in the morning. Smells like victory. As Boyd is here, good evening to you, Scott. Happy Friday. I hope you're keeping well. You're very welcome along. Billy Walt says, yeah, and big at the scale modelling have all the airbrushes and that. Nice. That's a nice selection you got. Many thanks, my dude. SDME correct, says Chasman. Negative, it'll be SBME. Now the bad thing is I have an absolute tonnage of like Airfix models and stuff under my counter to work on. I think I've 12 there, and I just haven't got around to making any of them yet. Hayden Super is here. You've got the JRX Gazelle for X-Plane 11. I surely do. Philip Breen is here as well. Evening, guys. Sorry I'm late. How are we all doing? Happy Friday to you, Philip. Zoid 1550 is now following. Many thanks, my dude. Happy Friday. Tarso asks, is that 172 the one that only comes with the premium version? Yes, it does. But my sources tell me that the premium aircraft will be made available soon. You'll be able to buy them in the store. Haven't a clue what they're going to charge them. I imagine $10. I could be wrong. Joel Edwards is here. He says hello. And time to relax with the amazing views. Nice, dude. Keen Lefford is here. Only 256 days to the Eurovision. Keen, what are you going to be like when it's like a week away from it? Or God forbid, the night before. You won't be able to control yourself. Sid Plays is here as well. Hey, Two-Tone. Good evening to you, Sid. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Happy Friday to you. The Chatsman says it's well worth it. I paid $50 for the A2A, which I love, the 172 and the 182. Oh yeah. I have to say, the A2A 172 was an absolute masterpiece. My absolute all-time favourite GA airplane. And then the Airfoil Labs one, which was fairly good as well. That got a lot of time over an X-plane. Did you bring your grog along? You're very welcome to the flight crew. Many thanks for supporting the channel, my friend. It should get some sort of a notification, and if it doesn't, I'll have to fix it. But thanks very much, dude. Really appreciate the support. Quesadilla is here. Ah, there it is. Did you bring your grog along? Really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. KCG says, good evening, Murphy, and hey, chat. Captain Frank has rolled in the door. How's it going, Captain Frank? Happy Friday to you too, sir. I hope you're keeping well. Daniel M says, when the sim comes out for Xbox, do you think it'll be cross-platform? I'd say they would have to. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on a huge, huge opportunity. I remember one of the things Austin was saying about X-Plane, whereby, you know, you can have someone on a mobile phone in Arizona working with a pilot training on a full flight simulator in Florida, being coached by another instructor in, like, I don't know, Seattle, and they're all interlinked. So anywhere from like a phone, a desktop, and a fully fledged sim. I really think Microsoft will follow suit. Tasman says, which Europe server again? It'll be the North European server. Sid Placey says, I'm on my way to Gibraltar in the TBM. Fell in love with it in the sim. It can only get better. 100%. It's absolutely fantastic. Zoid1550 says, did a lovely trip last night from Kerry to do touch and goes on all 3 Aran Islands. Highly recommend a visit. The Aran Islands look very good, I have to say, in Microsoft Flight Sim. Hayden says, I'm having some problems setting the controls up for the JRX Gazelle. My rudder pedals don't do much. And it says to set the throttle to wing sweep for the throttle. I can't find that in the settings. Okay, there is a little bit of work involved setting up the controls correctly for the Gazelle over on X-Plane 11. It's going to be hard to show you here tonight, but leave it with me. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can do something over on Discord. Keen Effort says, did you pass over the Statue of Christ yet? Indeed, and we did. Colonel Fork says, in this day and age, it'd be foolish for Microsoft not to have crossplay. I agree. So, quick check on our status here. 11 minutes away from our destination. The sun is setting and everything looks real nice. Hayden says, if you can help, mate, I can't fly it the way it's blew up 6 engines up and crashed 4 times. Yeah, it's a bit of a pickle to get going, but what controls do you have, Hayden? Keane says you should fly over Paris in a stream. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. My favourite version of the C-172, says KCG. The ATI one or the Airfoil Labs one? Care85 is here. Good evening to you. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Happy Friday. Hayden says I have the Thrustmaster Warthog and throttle, Saytech Pro Combat and Logitech 3D. I'm using the throttle on that for the collective. Alright, nice. Okay, it's fairly set up right, so. The Chasman says, fueling up now. Gop Slayer's here. Hey Murph, how goes it? He says, very well, my friend. Hope you're keeping well, Gop. Happy Friday to you. The weekend is here. We've made it. Now, for those of you who only start working at the weekend, well, I'm sorry, but Peter. So we're about... Distance is less than 16 nautical miles. The airport will be over here. Altitude at 3,500 feet. We're now going to reduce that by 1,000 feet. Not that, Murph. Go for 500 feet on our descent here. Keep an eye on our speed, but I think we're going okay. Hisagia says, the default one without the glass cockpit. I agree and I approve. You tell me. We have a national holiday on Monday. Would it be Independence Day? And it's not because I totally just use my phone for that. It's because I am a wealth of knowledge, and that's the level of care we give our viewers here on the stream. And I just looked it up on my phone. Look at the state of that view. The Nvidia Crusader is here. Good evening to you, dude. Hope you're having a good Friday. Yep, it's Independence Day. Nice. That's okay, Wes. No one else saw it. Chloe Quinn is here. Good evening to you, Chloe. How are you keeping? She says, lovely views. Aren't they pretty? That view is dangerous. It's very distracting. Like, I have to put the plane down over here somewhere. Now, speaking of which, where are we landing this? Bring up the map. Let's zoom in. It's pretty much straight in. Isn't that handy? So I think that's the runway here. There's like a river or something there, so we just keep left of that. Colonel says, I might need to reboot my modem when we land. Understood, no problemo. Is it Labor Day in the US? I'll just check my my brain here. Ah, it is Labor Day in the US. Monday is Labor Day. The Nvidia Crusader, through Super Chat, has donated a 5. Found a CH yoke and throttle at a pilot shop at an airfield. It was in the buck ass of nowhere. Nice one, dude. And many thanks for the donation, my friend. And best of luck with your new CH yoke and throttle. Irish Aviator says, are you going to fly over Japan? Going to love flying over it when I get FS 2020. 100%. Japan is definitely on the list of things to do and see. Keen says, how long are you streaming for? I'm not sure. Tonight or in general? And Quesagia confirms, yes, it is Labor Day in the US. Well, that's kind of handy, isn't it? Labor Day in the US, Independence Day in Brazil. You know, Monday in Ireland. It's going to be a fantastic Monday, guys. Okay, so as we approach this airport, which is ahead of us here somewhere, there it be, We're going to reduce altitude here to 1,500. Activate that and V-speed it down by 500 feet. Keen Never says, tonight, well, a little while yet, probably till maybe midnight. We'll see how we go. Monday is Murphy Stream Day on Twitch. Yes, it is. Bonus points awarded to the Colonel. Man, why didn't I think of that? Okay, I'll try it again, right? And just totally forget about what I spoke about earlier on. So, yeah, Monday, that's really cool. Like, in America, it's going to be Labor Day, and in Brazil, it's Independence Day, and on Twitch, it's Two-Tone Murphy Day. All right. No, that probably won't work either. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Autopilot coming off. As we bring the throttle back here a little bit, because we're kind of overspeeding, our mixture is going to go to fully rich for our landing. And once we get our speed, or airspeed, if you look down here, see this white arc? This white arc indicates at what speed in which you can start lowering some flaps. And the reason we lower some flaps, it allows the aircraft to travel an awful lot slower without stalling. Demias84, he says, good evening from Cork. Good evening to you too. Now, Murph, don't make a hash of this. You have people watching. Scott says, if you find yourself flying in my neck of the woods at 9 DME on the 13 right locator of KDFW, look down on the left side and you will see me. Nice. Yeah, Scott, we might rumble over your neck of the woods when we finish up here in Brazil. I meant to do some bush flying as well. So I was going to check out parts of Norway, some of the fjords. Is it the Bajuran fjords are in Sweden? But you have other fjords in Norway, I think. I hope. Otherwise I'm very wrong. We're going to pull an all-nighter, lads. Grinding those views. And next we'll fly over Kinnegad. Some bush flying landing challenges. Yes, there has to be landing challenges. And he'll be like, can you land on this 26 feet long strip of dirt in between the two trees next to the big building with the moving Ferris wheel in the dark, in zero visibility during a thunderstorm, in the snow? Challenge accepted. Okay, so we are a little bit high here. But there's good reason for that, because there's lots of trees. So keep the nose up. We'll go for a notch of flaps now. There's the speed starting to bleed off. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So we're aiming for... See the kind of two lines up past all the arrows? That's where I want my wheels to hit. And then I look at the end of the runway. Because if you just fixate on the start of the runway, well, you could run out of the rest of the runway relatively soon. We're kind of holding 59-ish knots, but that's okay. And once we get down low enough, bring our throttle back, and we flare the aircraft, as in pull it back so it should glide to contact. Something like that, but yeah, it could be done better. Okay, there's 40 knots. Bring our flaps back in. There would appear to be an exit down here to our right-hand side. I hope. Luda says, with gear failure. No, it'll be a pair of human legs hanging out of a Cessna. Ethan Short is here. Good evening to you. He says, just joined for landing. Is that good luck or what? That's good luck. Do the lotto tonight, my friend. The Video Crusader says, I've allocated a 250 gig SSD for manual cache generation just over Toronto and Belfast. Much better performance over the city. Yep, that's the way to do it, my friend. Let the sim download and store all the scenery rather than trying to live stream it. Agent I says, great landing, Murph. Many thanks, my dude. So we're going to ramble up the taxiway here. I wonder, did we get the Colonel down? We did. Nicely done, Colonel. Ethan says, where are you flying tonight? So we're in Brazil. This airport is called, I think it's McKay. Someone has to correct me if it's not McKay. Sierra Bravo Mike Echo. That's where we currently are at the moment. And we're going to head back down to Rio de Janeiro, and we're going to fly around the Christ the Redeemer. The Christ the Redeemer, or just Christ the Redeemer? The statue up on the hill there, the big fella. And then we're going to do some landing challenges. The Berko Flyer says, I can't understand why I can't see you. I'm here. That's okay. I'm on a closed server at the moment, so I'll turn it on here now shortly. We're just going to abandon the aircraft here on the right hand side. Chugga 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 chugga. Okay, so parking brake comes on. Now, to shut down the Cessna 172, we follow a couple of steps. So we get our landing lights, taxi lights and strobes off. We're finished with them. We then turn off our transponder all the way to 0. Next we need to turn off our avionics. So the avionics need to be off before starting the aircraft and before you shut it down, otherwise you'll damage them. So the avionics can come off. We can then pull back on the mixture, which will starve fuel going to the engine. We then turn off our mags. Our fuel shut-off valve can come out, and then usually you turn off the one of the fuel tanks. So then we can turn off the rest of our lights, and then the battery and the alternator comes off. And it's as simple as that, as the aircraft is then shut down, as the Colonel has followed suit. That's okay. What are we looking for? We go with this one. Nice. Okay, what I'm going to do, jump out of here. For you, those of you who are asking in relation to the nameplates, if you go into general, go down to traffic, show traffic nameplates, you can turn that on or off. That's what that is. So back to the main menu. And now I have this screen. Look, I've added to it. The chat is beside it. Kane says there are a lot of fjords in Scandinavia. Harrison Fjord. I like it. I like it. Okay, we'll do our normal tidy up operation. Shut down the sim and restart. Hello, I'm in the chat, says Ludas. See, I got the... That took all of 2 minutes, like that's an achievement. Now, let me think. I'm going to do something absolutely wild here. No. Bear with me. Ethan says, are you flying around the Sugarloaf as well when you're in Rio? The Sugarloaf? Where be that? Okay, so is Hayden Super still here? The Colonel says the modem has been rebooted. Ah, it's a peak nearby. Okay, yeah, cool. We'll do it. 100%. So if Hayden is here, I've just booted up X-Plane here in the background, and I just want to show him the control stuff. Hayden, still here. Okay, right. Let us see. Settings. Keyboard or joystick. Aha. So if we go to Gazelle. Okay, let's start with the joystick. Okay, how do we do this now? So I'm going to go into this.
Appreciate the comeback, good buddy.
Javam is here, donating 200 through the super chat. Many thanks, Javam. Hope you're keeping well, dude. Okay, bear with me because I want to now help out a dude. Okay, we're in X-Plane, but just for a moment, don't all freak out and lose the will to live and, you know, give out to the fella as he sips from his thoughtful jar. Okay, Nathan. Not Nathan, Hayden. Hayden, look at the following screen. This is important. So, this is the control setup I have set to the JRX Gazelle. So, for the joystick itself, we have roll and pitch on the joystick. They're the important ones you need to see. Then, on the throttle, we have... not that button. Go back up here, you do, will you? So our wing sweep, sorry, our collective rather, is the main throttle, the one on the right hand side. That's called collective. The wing sweep is this guy down here. Moving this guy forwards or backwards controls your wing sweep. You have your main throttle, that controls your collective. And then you have this grey guy down here that controls your wing sweep. That's all I use. So I hope that makes sense to you. I've nothing else set. So this other guy, he doesn't do anything. And then over on the rudder pedals, I have a yaw. And that's it. You don't need toe brakes. It's on skis. So I hope that makes sense to you. Microsoft, take note. This controller menu system is like so superior. Just saying. So yeah. So they're the controls I have set to... Where did you find the wing sweep setting? Okay, so if you go into here, it should be there. If it's not there, scroll all the way down to custom command. Click on custom command. You'd want to know what it is. Hit edit and type in wing. Oh, hang on. Did we break it, Murph? Cancel. Custom. Wing sweep. No, it's actually there. You don't need to type it in at all. So if you just go down to the main ones, it's called wing sweep. So if I wanted to add, say, this throttle, the second one, the one on the left-hand side, if I wanted that to be wing sweep, I'll just click on it and select wing sweep. And that should do it. So I hope that works. I hope that helps. And that'll sort out your headache that you were having in the world of X-Plane. Do let me know. Helicopter, we have a heli now. No, we don't. This is over in X-Plane. And I'm just saying though, like these controller menus, I find are far superior. But no, unfortunately, we don't have helis over in the world yet. Hayden says, I'll have a look right now. Thanks, appreciate it. No problem at all, my dude. So we need to quit this. Don't worry, X-Plane. We'll be joining you someday soon. Oh look, everything's gone off. There, I'm back. Whew, that was scary, wasn't it? Hang on, I'll find this button now. Asher, look, now we're all back. Isn't this grand? Absolutely grand. So we get a bit of background music here as well, just to make it all kind of, you know. Now, let's see. Yeah, like the Warthog, it can be very sensitive. You can use the target software, which helps. It absolutely helps, but it kind of takes a while to kind of get through all the settings, and I find the controller profiles and how to set and bind buttons in Microsoft Flight Sim a little bit of a headache in comparison to what is in X-Plane. Like, X-Plane spent a lot of time working on their UI, and when you see the difference of X-Plane 10 and when they transitioned to X-Plane 11, unbelievable. Hayden says, yeah, I got the wind sweep working now, just blew up engine number 7. Nice indeed, I'm glad it worked. Ethan says, would you ever recreate the Bray air display? Yep, 100%. That's a great idea. We would have to have A, a commentator, B, a controller, and C, well, pilots, and a D, people to watch it. Keen Leffert says, Murph opens X-Plane, viewers leave the stream. I wouldn't think so. X-Plane still holds up, guy, and there's going to be an update coming out sooner than you think for X-Plane, so it's not going anywhere. I saw a post earlier on. It was just like, it was kind of funny. It was on Facebook or Twitter, and it was like, you know, Microsoft Flight Sim created a game, X-Plane created a flight simulator, and it was real, like, in your face. And then a couple of minutes later, Microsoft Flight Sim put out their own tweet, you know, 1 billion virtual miles flown, X amount of hours, the favorite aircraft we have. So yeah. Now I need to fix things. So we're not in X-Plane anymore. We're back here. Let there be light. Haha, there's light. We're a genius here tonight. Absolutely flying it here, lads. You see what I did there? We're flying it. So, what we want to do now is join in the gang as I scroll in to the dudes. So we're going to go for ramp 4 parking. We're going to set this as our departure. Where is this other place? Was it here? No. Was it here? No. It was here. Yeah. No, that's not the arrival though, Murph. Here's the arrival. But I want to add... I like to go into this place, so we're just going to add that as well. So that's the first part done. Flight conditions, we're going to all players. That's important. Preset, we're going to use live weather, but we're going to make it kind of daytime again. Only because, well, I want to see what's going on. I might go back to, like, absolute daytime. That'll be pretty. Aircraft selection. I'm going to stick with the 172. Weight and balance, add a bit of fuel. That'll do. Our ATC options are going to be PP M4D for Stuart Payne, because it was Stuart's idea to come over to this neck of the woods today. So I said, Ash, we'll do that. Now, what were the other questions? Oh yeah, guys. So when you're setting up your flight and you want to be either in the and you want to be in this group, there's a couple of things you got to watch. First and foremost, in your multiplayer options, make sure you're set to all players. Now, you can go to live players, but you have to fly real world weather. It's more than likely it's going to be controlled airspace, and you have to behave yourself. If you go to all players, you can fly with anyone who's on the same server as you're on. If you go to off or group only, it's only this icon up here, then you can create a group and just fly with a very close group of friends. I think the maximum number is 6. So that's the first thing. The second thing, as he sips on his drink, the second thing is, up in your user tag or your username, up in the top right hand corner, you would have your status and your server. Now, usually this is going to be set to automatic. Depending on where all your buddies are flying and you all want to fly on the same server, you select a server. So for me, my closest server is, it's somewhere between 10 and 15 milliseconds away. You're looking for the lowest possible number if you can. But even if you can't, the lag isn't that bad. I haven't come across any lag. So that's that done. flight conditions, all players, AI traffic or air traffic. I don't need them because I just want to see the guys flying. Live weather is turned on, and then we can edit the time of day and all that kind of good stuff. So I have my flight plan. I've selected my aircraft. I've added in my own unique tail number. We have our departure and arrival. I've put in a custom waypoint here. You can just click on things and say add. And that should be good. Ethan says, I'm a good commentator. Cool. Colonel Fork says, I'm still chilling on the ramp, ready for startup. The pop soda, or the pop, in brackets, soda fizzy beverage, is decent here. Nice. Okay, we are ready to fly. We're here in a little Cessna Rooney again. And here's the crew. Hey fellas. Okay, we'll get airborne in a second because I have a bit of reading to do. So let's see. Ethan. Modern Tornado 81 has just subscribed. Many thanks, my dude. Happy Friday. We've beepage. Ooh, and a crash. One must ask what happened there. Murphy's Law, lads. You've seen it here first. Let's try that again, shall we? The timing here is great. Ethan says, I'm a good commentator. Wesley says, I still love X-Plane 11 for airliners. Yeah, 100%. Stuart says, X-Plane isn't going anywhere. It's still king of IFR. Indeed it is. Colonel Fork says, I just signed up to VATSIM and did the PO test last night. Sweet, dude. Scott Voigt says, the owner of X-Plane said all of the things that he's going to work on. He knows that he has a challenge, but he does tout it having a better flying model. I would agree. And Austin has said to himself, you know, this is not his first rodeo. He knows what he's about. Many thanks to Clayman173. He's now following on Twitch. Happy Friday, dude. Kenneth Norton says, last night did a flight Cessna 310 from North Wales to Inverness. Fantastic. Cool. Billy Walt says, Bray virtual air display July 27 and 28. Oops, we missed it. Hayden says, I got 2020 on the Game Pass and the controller setup. I was like, what is this? Lasted 3 days on and then went back to X-Plane. Give it a bit of time. When it works, it works. And, you know, once you get your head around it, it's good, like. Relatively good. Scott says, I do think Microsoft is going to keep working on it and improving it 100%. Kid Naffer says, the battle between X-Plane and Microsoft is worse than Xbox versus PlayStation. Well, it's good news for us because we're going to benefit from, obviously, comparing one against the other. But I don't necessarily think you're going to compare one against the other. Like, my own opinion is, if you're really into your flight sim or, you know, your PC pilot, you'll have both, you know, if you can. Gopslayer says using 300 gigs to cache files, is that enough? Yeah, loads. Scott says, in the Honeycomb group, someone has sent a ticket to Microsoft about a problem, was told that Microsoft is going to be working on different areas of the world and improving the graphics region by region. I heard that as well. Hayden says, there's no battle, X-Plane is better. King Lefford, cough cough. Okay. Let's see, can we do this again, shall we? And it's not crashing. Okay, and where do we say we're going to? SB or J? Yes, and we want to add in SB, yes. Add. That's what we want to do. All players are set. Live, we go to preset. Go back down to daytime. Let's go to here in case there's a glitch with the time of day. Aircraft is selected. Weight and balance. Bring this up to about 75 or 76. That's fine. Again, M4D. Driving people mad with the sound of the click on the keyboard. Ah, well. Yeah. North Europe. Let's just keep that on automatic, shall we? West Europe. How to do that? Or North Europe? Okay, let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't break. So we continue on. Having to use the Euro server, what is the lag on the other side of the world? Asked Scott. Good question. What airport are we stopping at? We're going to head back down to Rio de Janeiro. Luda says, I got your friend request. You're in air traffic the other night. Modern Tornado says, hello. Awesome Pilot Michael says, this is so cool. Definitely going to get the premium edition. Thanks for the info. No problem, my dude. Ethan Short, why is there no runway markings? There was a while ago. Please don't crash. Be a good sim and don't crash. Okay, we have peoples. Okay, so let's see now. Don't tempt fate. Park and brake. Fuel shut off and go in. Beacon. Nav. Mixture rich. Okay, what happened there? Ah, it's crashing again. It's just heartbreaking. Whatever is going on this evening, things aren't running well for us. Let's see. Things just aren't going well for us. How does one fix this mess? We'll just try it again. If at first you don't succeed, smash it. Modern Tornado asks, are you monetized? I am, but I suspect that's going to stop very soon. Because the sim keeps crashing. Maybe do Northern Europe again. I don't know, there could be a problem with the servers. Many thanks, Hayden. Let's see, can we get this show on the road here, shall we? That music is amazing. I kind of stole it. Catstrader had a stream. He's had he's millions of streams, and he kind of plays that when things go really wrong or if there's something odd happening. And yeah, I totally stole it. I can live with it, only because I like it. Okay, it could be crashing because there's too many people in the airport. Yep, that could be it. Sure Pain says, update Windows. That's what I did, mate. And I think they're putting a small update. Oh dear. Don't say that. Back to the Celtic music. Now let's see, does Windows actually want an update? Let's see. It says we're good to go. Okay. Something turned off. Let us see. Irish Lad says, did you fly around Limerick area yet? We surely have. Start to queue for takeoff. If we get organised, it'll surprise flights into working. I should hope so. Keeps crashing because you have to pay landing fees before you can leave.